Oh, right. Oh, hold on, I got a call. Ugh. Getting inhaled some of the dust on top of the sandwich. Yeah. Dream time. Only 12 minutes late this time. Well, I started like 5 minutes ago, sort of. So I base it off of that. Ugh. I bought an air fryer. Oh, I still don't know how to use it really, but as soon as I do, everything's gonna taste way better. That's how it works, right? I don't know, everything I've put in it so far just makes it really dense. It like toasts it, which makes sense, I guess. I'm just so used to throwing stuff in the microwave and it gets all soggy. Not the worst thing. I definitely have to mute the mic every time I take a bite though, because there will be a crunch. But yeah, today. The last Ace Attorney trial of the first game out of 3. Possibly more if I continue playing. But yeah, I'm gonna finish it. I don't know how long the last trial is gonna take. I'm assuming a minimum of like 2 or 3 hours, but if there's a little time left, then I don't know what I'll do. I guess depending on how tired I am, I'll either keep playing something else, or just do something else, or just end it there. Maybe a shorter stream. We'll see. BP, what's up? What's that emote? Ah, it's a Pikachu drinking boba tea. I've never seen that before. It's one of your emotes. How you doing on this, hold on. Wednesday night. Oh, where's Ace Attorney? Bought it a while ago, just recently added it. Emote slots. I have about 9 emotes that I don't use because I just can't. Because I got them in like bulk. I'm tired, annoyed, and frustrated. Oh no, what happened? That's like the wombo combo of not feeling good. Usually when I feel like that, it's because I haven't eaten in a while. For whatever reason, even though I'm not like a big food person, if I'm hungry, I get 100% angrier when I'm angry. Family work stuff. I see. Well, I hope that clears up for you in the near future, if not already. Nope, that's the wrong button. I was gonna mute the mic so I could take a bite out of this crunchy ass sandwich. Technically already done, over with, but plans got screwed over. Okay. I see. So like, you had stuff that you got set up, and then stuff got in the way, but it's over with now. I see. Is the defendant lobby alright? There's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if Something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth! Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding the ID record. That number does belong to whom you suspect, and no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes right, and Chief Prosecutor Sky will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. It's the first time he's ever done something like this. Is it? I feel like he's done this before. So you do still verse Edgeworth in court? Yeah, I think he's still like technically the prosecutor on the case. But like he has his own like sense of justice, right? So he's gonna hear me out. Even if it he wants to find the truth, I guess. I don't know. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? This food is way too crunchy. I can't eat or else it'll the mic will pick up the noises. You're gonna eat food. Thank you for the lurk, detective. We're both eating food now. I was gonna eat before stream, but I ran out of time, unfortunately. This is it. If we're ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Oh fuck. He's gonna be like, you broke into my office. You shouldn't be allowed to do anything, idiot. Let's go! Sheep, what's up? How's your Wednesday been? My Wednesdays, I just bought I bought an air fryer and it finally came in today. Gone swimming lately, Judge? Swimming lately? Have you been swimming? Pool's closed. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Yaji. Been back to the pool yet? Oh, I've been drowning enough as it is in my own work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. Let's see what Lana wants to say to us. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to... Oh my god, bro. Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Uh-huh. I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. Oh, Lana! Game over and good job, Kaipi. She's just unsavable. She doesn't want to be saved. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana... Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. Classic. Okay, well, bets on what's gonna save her this time. Is it gonna be A, Emma, B, I was supposed to say Mr. Wright. Is it gonna be B, Edgeworth, or is it gonna be C, myself? I think it's gonna be Emma. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. It was Edgeworth. Correct answer was B. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecutor has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is difficult. This is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, Oh, he's rebelling. Huh. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh? To whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. Oh! The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Get rolled, Lana. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy. You'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Let's go. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Thought. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. The yesteryear. Oh, oh, wrong button again. Sandwich. Yeah, you'll still be able to see like my mouth move, but no way am I gonna subject everyone to the crunch. That's the thing, like I don't know, even though I just got the air fryer, so I don't really know what like the best settings for it are. So I kind of just turn everything really crispy, which is good, but like makes it really crunchy. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. How the fuck that shit work? Good question. It kind of looks like a small microwave compartment, but it doesn't make the food, instead of making the food soggy like a microwave, it makes it like crispy and like, it warms it up and makes it crispy instead of warming it up and making it soggy and moist like a microwave does. The microwave it traps the moisture, all the moisture from it being cold. It like traps it in there, and then it just makes the sandwich like soggy. That's the main reason I got the air fryers, because I wanted to try a different method. But how it works, I could not tell you. I bet there's a fryer goblin that lives inside the compartment, and he breathes fire onto the sandwich. Every air fryer comes with one. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Let's go! It's science. There isn't a fryer goblin. It's actually the convection inside of the air. Shut up. Big that's what Big Goblin doesn't want you to know. They want you to think that there's actually some kind of science going on behind it. But little do they know, I've pried into the air fryer already. I found the fire goblin. Very well. The defense. I was gonna say the self-defense. The defense may begin its cross-examination. Type you stinky. Not as stinky as you, Aerith. Not as stinky as you. You smell twice as bad. Actually, I smell good. You smell, that's like 4 times as bad. Boom, roasted. Roasted like an air fryer. Fried like an air fryer. How you doing, Aerith? Let me sniff. I assure you, I smell like... I can't think of anything, but I smell good. I promise. I was waiting at my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Alright. Let's press a bit. Sniffer. Right now I probably smell like ham and Swiss, but like, that's only because I'm eating a sandwich. Maybe that's just like the general vicinity. It's just because the sandwich is near me, so it makes me smell like it, but I don't actually smell like it. A man. Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. And he saw his chance. He fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. And he ran to Sky in Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. What was the prosecutor doing there? That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Almost forgot about Gant. Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. That man. Oh my god, it's that man from Guilty Gear. He showed up. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony. I assumed that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark. When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead. And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in. I don't clearly remember what happened then, but... Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There's a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Edgeworth is always top tier. He's proven his worth in this case too. Cause he's trying to find the truth instead of just winning the case. I like Edgeworth too, but I don't think we're gonna see the cowboy guy again though. Marshall, I think he's gone for the rest of the trial. Maybe he'll show up at the end. He's so good. So glad my friend got me into Ace Attorney back in high school. I've just started playing, obviously, because this is the first game, but yeah, I got the trilogy. And then I learned that like a bunch of the games are still on DS and they haven't even ported them to Steam yet, so that's kind of weird, but or with dual destinies though. No, I'm doing it in order. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. Emu is your friend. Dual Destinies gets a lot of hate apparently. I thought it was good as my first game. Well, that's how it is with first games you play. Or maybe games you play when you were younger. Like, you'll play them, and then you'll be like, oh, this game is sick. Or, like, you remember being sick. But then you'll actually go back and play it and be like, this game's not as sick as I remember it being. But who knows, maybe everyone else is just wrong about Dual Destinies. I don't know. I haven't played. Even Dark Souls 2 is my first Souls game. I mean, it's not the best, but I don't think it deserves all the hate. I was talking to one of my friends about Ace Attorney actually. Sorry, Ace Attorney actually. And I don't know which one they said. I think they said that 5 and 6 are the worst ones. I don't know what Dual Destiny is, but let me see if I can find exactly. Ace Attorney. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They consider 5 and 6 to be lame. Like JoJo Part 1, lots of hate, but people gotta chill. True. Part 1 is super charming, but it's definitely the least spectacular or whatever. That is true. Like, JoJo Part 1, it gets everything started, but it's, like, definitely not as exciting. Honestly. It's not, like, the worst thing ever, but it's definitely, like, not as amazing, I guess. At least I didn't find Part 1 to be... It didn't flabbergast me. It didn't knock my shoes off. Oh, I pressed the wrong button again. Fuck. I don't know why I keep pressing the music button. Dual Destinies was the first 3DS game. Shit, that's too confusing. I don't know. Ace Attorney games confuse me beyond like the first 3. Cause like I know there's like the Edgeworth ones, and then there's like the other ones, and I only know them by numbers. You have to tell me it by like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No one is hornswoggled by JoJo until Tommy Gun. True. Part 2 really popped off, and then Part 3 was like, well, this is a whole new thing. And then Part 4 was goated, obviously. I think Part 4 is probably my favorite part. Overall. It's not my favorite part by any means, but since we're watching, I enjoyed it more. That's a good good point. I haven't rewatched Part 1, so maybe it'll have the reverse effect. Kakyoin though. Are you a big Kakyoin fan? I'm guessing your favorite part is 3 then, if you're a Kakyoin stan. That's why I drew a picture. A picture. Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about— oh, wait, I remember the picture. It's this thing, isn't it? On the back of the court record. Or not the court record, the evidence log. Look at that. What a great picture. Legend has it, before Chifuyu there was Kakyoin. Have you ditched Kakyoin? It's like that meme of the of Andy with Woody. He's like, I don't want to play with you anymore, but it's Kakyoin, and you dropped Kakyoin. Also, nah, Part 3 is good in some spots, but drags on too much. I thought it was good for what it was, like a little monster of the week type thing, except it was like stand users, and I liked how they go to different places. That's always fun. I still adore him. Right, good. That means you don't drop Kakyoin for Chifuyu. This picture, the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning. Why are you objecting? Hold on, we're trying to figure this out, Edgeworth. Whose side are you on? The side of justice, obviously, but the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we had added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. Nope, not lost. I got it right here. During the publication, it was very risky to do Monster of the Week when so many stores were doing tournament arcs as the big shouldn't trope. Oh my god, the tournament arc. Classic tournament arc. I don't dislike term narcs, but I don't like them either. I'm not the biggest fan, but Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence. Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. Yeah, what? All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SO9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it... Oh! What's this? Why is he so scared? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Araki was like to his publishers, how about no, and I do this instead. He said, I think I'll do it my way. Oh, they finished part 8, didn't they? He finished it up, Araki. I've read all the way up until 7, but, and I've started reading 8 a few times, but I wasn't really able to get into it. I like restarted it once, I didn't get anywhere either. I'm probably just gonna wait for it to get animated at this point. It's been done for a while. He can farm part 9 too? Wow. Keeps going and going. Is he gonna stop at an even 10? I mean, he rebooted it after 7 or 6, so he kinda has like a little bit new stuff to work with. I just hope he's gonna be fine. He's getting up there in years. Yeah, he is like, well, I think he's still healthy though, right? He's not like 70 or anything. I think he's in his like 50s, right? How old is he? Hold on. Might be 333. That would be actually pretty good. 789. It could be the New World arc. 123 can be the first arc. 1 and 2 fit. It could be the Dio arc. 1 through 3 can be Dio arc. 4, 5, 6 can be arc 2, and then 7, 8, 9 can be the rebirth arc for Rocky. He's 62. Okay, so he's a little older, but honestly, in this day and age, as far as we know, he's healthy, but I don't want a berserk situation. True. I think, yeah. Was it berserk or Yu-Gi-Oh? I think the Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know. I know sometimes stuff doesn't get finished before people die. Indeed, 2 men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These 2 lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. Did nobody question that? So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What?! Hunter x Hunter situation is rough, but he's working on it, thank God. Oh, is he also like unwell? Hunter x Hunter fans. Hunter x Hunter is one of those things where it's like, um, I want to start watching it, but it's one of the longer ones, so I can't like bring myself to get started, especially when I can't even start and finish like short, like 24 episode anime. I just don't watch stuff anymore. Seeing each page update is awesome. Really sad how Tagashi's doing though. It'll just never be finished. Isn't One Piece finishing up eventually soon? Allegedly, maybe. One Piece ending is like me saying I'm gonna get to the end of this game. I'm like, this is the finale, guys, for real. Make sure you watch Tokyo Revenge with me. Alright, alright. If I watch it with someone, usually it's easier because, well, someone's holding me like accountable. I guess not. Accountable is like a weird word because it's just watching a show, but you know what I mean. Order, order! But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor! Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Did he not even check? Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth. It's possible. Let's see. What is that supposed to be? Why is it just M? Oh, it said One Piece was in its final arcs. That's what I heard. I'm pretty sure every One Piece fan has that info on hand because every non One Piece watcher is like, so when's it gonna end, huh? Me included. For real, ignore my sobbing if we watch. Yeah, no, it'd be fun. I just have to find the time because like half the time I can either watch a show or play a game. I tell this to everyone when they tell me that I just don't watch anything anymore, but I have to pick, like, am I gonna play games or watch a show? Because when I watch shows, I want to commit my full attention to it. Otherwise, like, might as well have like a YouTube video playing in the background because I'm not really paying attention, right? But most of the time, I'm just not in the mood to watch shows. I just want to play a game. Video game. I love video game. Do you even have to ask? God, he's about to explode. Sorry, Your Honor. He said, sorry, Your Honor. I must compose myself. There's indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. Oh God. No, that's a blue badger, bro. Hydrate. I do need to get more water after that, though. That was like the last little bit of water I had left. Ooh. Oh, the blue badger. Let me just hold frame on this for a second. The absolute bamboozling going on here. That's that thing! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room! Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. ... Very well. Witness? Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. I gotta head out, but enjoy AA. Thanks for stopping by, Earth. Have a good rest of your night. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image into your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about the murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Judith has some concerns, some doubts and concerns. I guess I'll do some pressing. It's a pretty concise testimony. Yeah, it's like 4 sentences. But you know, I gotta hit that Q button. Most of the time, they'll say something like, I went to the store, the deli store, and then the next line will be, it was to buy meat, and then you'll press them, and then Phoenix would be like, but why were you at that store? And most of the time it's like, well, they were gonna say the next sentence, but you never know what you might find with the mighty Q button, or Q key. So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright. And I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flash? You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here. Anyway, this picture... Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives? Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. Better watch out, he might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well... It's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Is it the big rectangle that he's holding? Alright, what we got? Maybe if I present the murder weapon? I don't know, I can't tell if that's just a bad drawing or if that's, if that's not even important. Let me press the first statement like one more time, just to make sure. Did you draw this picture right after the incident? I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. Wait, can you please tell us why the picture is painted all black? Well, let's try the knife. I guess not. This picture shows exactly what I saw in the instant. So she saw the thingy, she saw the power went out, the lightning flashed, and she saw that, and then she fainted. Stabbed in the back. He still could have been stabbed in the back from here, right? Whoops, that's the wrong thing. The fuck is this? Blue badger. The blue badger is pointless then. It's just it's a red herring. There's not a lot I could present besides the autopsy report. Okay, it was that. Maybe it was the direction. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. Okay, so I was on the right track. I just needed to change my perspective a bit. If you look closely, you can see it. Its tip is broken. That's supposed to be a broken tipped knife? That just looks like a ruler, bro. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. Oh, Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. Oh. let me speak. How could the knife piece already be in his body? Is no one paying attention? Easy. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Oh! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean? Oh my god. They're popping up. The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time. Was she sure? She was sure she remembered correctly. But There's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? Oh my god, that hits a little close to home, Phoenix. You're treading on thin ice, right? Yeah, that's the... You're going for the feels, Mr. Right. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Arrgh! Order, order, order! Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. Alright. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gann. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's? Could there have been one? I feel like it's this one. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. White! Mr. White! In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Something that... It's not Edgeworth's knife. Might have been the oh, is this screwdriver? I still don't know what the point of this jar is, though. This jar is throwing me off. The screwdriver is a little sussy. Sussy screwdriver. Yo, Mr. Roy! And I don't know. I don't think you could stab someone with the shield. That's a little too blunt. Or maybe. No. Because I remember the old shield had a sword in it too. Oh wait, that's also broken. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Can I present this? Yes! The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the awards ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall's holding. That's a broken knife. Yeah, I figured I don't know, I was looking at the shield, and even though the shield is kind of pointy on some parts, I feel like it'd be more like a blunt injury than a knife. But then I remembered that there was that thing. I don't know, can you just like easily detach the knife part though? I guess you can. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was all in is the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order! Order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. That can't be! Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! Oh! Maybe he just took it out of his hands? But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back. I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. You drew the blue badger? Why? What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? Should be interesting. What does it mean? I'm so confused. Was there a floating blue badger just like above them? It's kind of terrifying. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible! The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him. Designed? Is that supposed to be designed? Hadn't even designed him until this year. That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Wait, that means there was a clown. Oh my god. Whoa, I didn't even get to read what he was saying. Stop! Please! Don't pursue this any further! Lana! What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Chief Prosecutor Skye. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Damon Gant was there, and he was in full clown gear. It all makes sense now. He's also floating in the sky. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we've just as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person. What do you mean you think? It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. Miss Sky was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next? The Blue Badger. Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember. Oh brother. Just when you thought that thing had ceased or had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face, with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may very well be. What's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh? And I suppose you have an explanation? If so, then by all means, please tell us what the shadow really was. What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this Blue Badger really? Okay, it's definitely something else. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing. Was it this thing? This jar? Only because we haven't used it yet. The Blue Badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright! In this room. Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious Blue Badger lookalike. What could it have been? Let me do a run through. Not this, not this. Probably not this. Doesn't have 3 horns. Not this, not this. Not the Blue Badger. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No. No, maybe. No, 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 no. It could only be this jar, right? The mysterious Blue Badger was in fact this. But that's... Or what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't even look anything like the Blue Badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Eh, 3D puzzles, yeah, baby. It's like this, right? Woohoo! It's gotta be like this. What? This isn't right. I've got to make it look more like the badger. Allow me to remind the defense, its case hinges on the witness's drawing. Mr. Wright can't match the shape the witness drew. We cannot accept this claim. Gotta find just the right angle. Maybe I should rotate it a bit more vertically or horizontally. Come on, Mr. Wright, you could do it. Got to show the correct angle. Okay, well, at least it's kind of forgiving. Is it like this? It's gotta be like this, right? Because the things have to be pointing up. This is definitely the closest. I think I was just like a little bit off. Right? Look at that. Immaculate. There we go. Damn, they couldn't have taken the first one. That was close enough. Well, is this a miracle or what? The blue badger. That's so funny. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the blue badger. No, it can't be. Order, order. The defense has proven its claim. This mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. While we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then, please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? The location's not different. The murder weapon... It's one of these two. Maybe it's the murder weapon because it was falling? Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked into in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Oh, this giant spiky statue. Oh. The suit of armor, holding up a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No. Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking... Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless... I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright? What's the matter? Events took place as the defense theorizes, and the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Damn, got hooked. Dead by Daylight, up in here. Uh-oh. You're a fucking killer. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Blood. I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What is it now? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that, coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Oh, I do. I have fingerprints. Yes. It certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. Certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Welcome back, Chief. We're at the... I don't know if this is the climax, but stuff is happening. Huh. Touche, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. Until we can get Dev to testify with spear magic? Yeah, what? Did they forget? It's cause she's not here. They all forgot about her. They're like, right, Maya, yeah. Yeah. Where is she again? She's in the mountains? Yeah. No, I remembered she was in the mountains, yeah. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. This is the message from the deceased. Right. Now then, this is the message from the judge. Oh, I guess that wasn't right. That be in written form. Oh, okay. You better be careful. You might wind up deceased yourself. I saw Emma's prints and went for it, but there's actually just a piece of paper that says. Oh, it's this thing. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Wow, I wonder who it was. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. Mr. Wright, what kind of message does the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. Got to connect these dots to make letters. It's the only thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. His murderer's name. Okay, Oh, I see it. How do I... Oh, there we go. Ooh, we drawing. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Alana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. The flashes of truth. Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Dun dun. Bum, 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 bum. Seaworthy. Can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Ah. Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Enter David Gant. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Well, I mean, if he really was a serial killer, then I don't know. It feels like we're just doing a semantics argument here. It's like, yes, he did murder 5 other people, but his 6th murder didn't actually happen. And for that, you are evil. Like, no, not really, but okay. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on? They just sent an innocent man to his death. Oh, how can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, order, order! Whoopie, hello. Welcome. Hold on. How are you doing? I'll be right back. I'm gonna get more water. Innocent. Everyone knows if you mess up even once, then that clears you completely of any crime. Because that last murder didn't happen, he was basically as good as innocent. Those other people that died didn't matter. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. He continued. Well, wait, now what? I guess we haven't really proven Lana to be innocent. We just established some things in the past, right? Yeah, Steve was so good. You like it, Steve? The organ. Brr, brr. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Okay, bye. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Bye-bye. He just leaves. Take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here. She asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was just talking about this the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Could at least study some evidence law. Really? She said, read up, idiot. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him. Guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Oh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth! The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility has been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she's unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She really stuck a knife into his dead body. Easy. There's a big difference. Everyone does the second thing. Are you gonna sit here and tell me you haven't just stuck a knife into a dead person's body? Didn't think so. Right, didn't go to law school. He went to Japanifornia Law School. Which is to say, it was an elective in high school. That's it. That means the real killer is still out there. What? We're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Okay, but you know what that confirms to me? That confirms that they literally really did just bring in a serial killer dude to question him without arresting him. And they didn't pat him down. They didn't search him. He had his knife on him. Why? I thought surely there was going to be a development that explained something. But no. They really did do that, huh? Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It proved that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright. You do realize this is your last chance? If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls... Time has finally come to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As a defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. Edgy best though. Yeah, Edgeworth's coming in clutch. The pursuit of truth. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. I'm so ready to see Gant flip his shit. It's gonna be so satisfying. You'd also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. It's not gonna be easy. This guy's gonna weasel, but... Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir? Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Here we fucking go, bro. Now then, Chief Gant. The court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh? Like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave, or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? He's about to light up the courtroom, bro. He's not going down without a fight. He's gonna summon his private military. Oh my god, he's pulling that shit. Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. I mean, okay, I guess. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Plead the fifth. Let me look at this book real quick. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. Very well. The witness may now begin his testimony. It is hard because he's the chief of police. He knows all the loopholes and ways of function, right? As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. That when Dark was arrested. Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. It is a really sturdy suit of armor, by the way. The fact that nothing fell over or, like, fell under the weight. Like, that means that that whole suit of armor is, like, completely bolted down and held the entire weight of, Neil. It's crazy. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, I'd better hit him hard and fast. Alright. Alright, buddy. I'm gonna be pressing. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right. But Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neo and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that! The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart though. The fuck? Bro, what? Sorry, I was looking for something, but I'm doing good. Nice, good to hear. That's not funny. But I'm doing good. I've been playing I woke up pretty late, as I normally do, because I sleep in, or I stay up really late and I sleep in. Then I played a few matches of DBD on the PT. I went back to the PTV to play more Wesker. I played like 2 matches because that's all I could queue up for, but that was fun. And I'm gonna look through my clips later, so I can put them into like little. I was gonna put them on the TikTok and cut them down. Maybe edit a few. But yeah, it's been a good day. I got an air fryer. The air fryer that I bought finally came in, so I'm learning how to use that. Clearly, I do now own an air fryer. Can you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Wait a minute. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor? Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those 2 poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. Oh, right, okay. I was confused earlier because he should have been hung on the statue, right? But he was on top of the other guy with a knife in the wrong knife in his back. I guess, damn, Lana has a lot of experience with just putting knives in dead guys' bodies. She's done it twice now, which, I mean, there's only 2 times, but it's still more than normal. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor? Yes. Anyway. Sussy. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy! Always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. What the fuck Lana got going on in that noggin? She's crazy. She loves jigsaw puzzles, and it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, except it's like a stab wound and a knife. So I've got to link Gant to the incident. Okay, so the statement is gonna be the last one, where he's like, I didn't do anything. I think it's this. Yes, I think it's a piece of cloth. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? Oh, what's that? And what's that on it? A handprint? Chief Gant, your explanation, please. Ow. Oh dear, hello. Welcome. I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Raito. Don't you know? The second rule of evidence law. Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared. Guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay, I'll do it just this once. But only because you asked, Uji. Thank you. I assure the defense is terribly sorry. Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. Alright, dude. How do I get around this then? A screwdriver, maybe? Was that submitted already? What about this one? We've shown this one, right? You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's that blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who stuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. Not Dick. Him? Me? What? What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying the work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in a forgery. Your age in the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. There's a lot of stuff to work with there. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Haji. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys telepathic? I'd appreciate it if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tripped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you did carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Raito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. And yes, I will be pressing charges. Never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. I knew it. He's the chief of police. He's gonna know every loophole in the book. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Raito. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? Would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Raito. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent? Oh, what? Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not so sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all of this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would of course be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to the to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. Ho ho ho! Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Gah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself. You did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There. It's out in the open now. Aichi, would you mind if I changed my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Ho ho ho! That's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? In his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Would he? So this is saying no, he wouldn't have helped someone out? True, you might not help out for anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Okay. Would it be Lana? It's not her. Or her, because she hates that. Or him. It's probably not him. I think it's Lana. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Skye fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who'd want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Skye was appointed chief prosecutor at the prosecutor's office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the chief prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me, despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? This guy's stupid. Oh, wait. You must be puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Skye in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as chief prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless... That is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Or which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy. You'd better watch your tongue. Wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! 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 I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. You accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible! Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier that wasn't easy to understand language. That was rambling. What Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? As a chief, a high-ranking officer of the law is involved in this murder. Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good. Show us the evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Oh, it's this, this thing. Right? No. Maybe. Is it? Is it this knife or the, I'll just go with this. Let's try this. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There's one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 77777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. This fucking destroyed. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Scant. The safe in Chief Scant. Chief Scant? The safe in Chief Scant's. Let's try that from the top. The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 77777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief's Gantz. Chief's Gantz, dude. Chief's Damon's Gantz. Phoenix's rights. Yeah, have you been read your Phoenix's rights yet? Chief Gant. You entered. Oh my god. We got him. We got him, boys. Look at that. That's the cracking phase. He's about to snap. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order! Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman would have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant, I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lotta Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Detective. Show them they went to go meet the Chief Gant on the day of the crime. I was like I was reading the sentence and trying to think of what it was, but it's probably this. Yeah, it's this. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have to have given that report to the Chief of Police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh! Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way that murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. Oh my god, he's a Joe star. He's Joseph. I, the Chief of Police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait. The Chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. He's like, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, let's run with that. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you'd really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Oh my god. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. So you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was just a useless clue just taking up space. Wait, what? How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us the evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. Oh. A screwdriver. Hold on.
Poggers!
Did it have something to do with Miles going for the... It might be that. It might be the screwdriver, honestly. This is how we moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? What does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Oh! I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gant asked you to. You mean he transported the body? The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief? Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? Imagine if, like, Edgeworth had stopped at, like, a fucking Home Depot to get some, like, supplies for his house or something. Went to go put the supplies in the back of his car in his trunk. Dude, it would have been over from there. Case would have gone completely differently. Edgeworth probably would have been accused. There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Skye. Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. Exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe our time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. Oh, okay, dude, you can't just say, You should have done that at the beginning. You can't go this far and then be like, this is getting a little too close. This is hitting a little too close to home. I'm throwing in the towel. What? It is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh-worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you're trying to say, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had law to dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? Do I? No prints. I'm just gonna say I do. I can't let him just scrum his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. I don't know if I have anything definitive though. Kill him with this book. Kill him with knowledge. That's L9. Saul Goodman. This is tough. Has to prove he murdered him without a shadow of a doubt. The only thing that like remotely Unless I'm missing something, I can only think of this trophy, the knives. Hey! Stop. Buffy's chewing on this bag. God, it's covered in peacocks. Okay, I'm keeping it. Keep this over here. So he stops biting it. Maybe the switchblade knife? A murder weapon. So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof. As to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt, I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. Oh, right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? What I think, Mr. Wright, is I'm going to be late for lunch. Guess that wasn't enough. Please, Your Honor, give me just a little longer to consider. Maybe I don't have proof yet. Maybe they're giving me a chance to say no. No use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. Huh. See, Yoji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Rido. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Damn. If Fornux isn't right, then is the Phoenix wrong, I guess? I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency.
Objection!
What? Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth? What do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. I am? Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? They may not be willing to tell the truth. But we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth. The defendant? Miss Lana Sky? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on! Huh? Chief Gant! I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Or he's gonna flee the country now. Okay, if there aren't any further objections. This court is now in recess. Oh, this trial's so long, bro. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. Haha. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place that top-knotted girl used to work with. Hell yeah. Could you read Maya? The adventures of Phoenix and Gumshoe. It's gonna be awesome. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Huh. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks. What did he mean by that? Okay, back. Had to make another portion because my cat snatched a good amount while I wasn't looking. Oh no. My cat doesn't eat my own food. He just tries to cover it for me, I guess. He'll quote unquote bury it for later. How goes the trial? It's going. It's a pretty long trial, but wouldn't have any other way for this particular case. The longest case in the world. The chief refuses to testify. The opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she'd changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. They really ever mess with it, but because it had Salmon, the bigger, older one, tried to snatch off the counter, or he did snatch it, yeah. Little thief. She must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blame yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Big thief. Hearing him land is what got my attention. Oh no. Yeah, Fluffy doesn't take food. He's too much of a baby. He doesn't care about food that much. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Red. It's time to end this. Society. Blame it on society, pal. Now then, for the defendant Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand. Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you. But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years. Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you are under oath. You want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I will always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. The only chance we have to get Gant. Gant's name isn't a play on words, is it? Damon Gant? If it is, then I went completely over my head. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. You sure about this testimony? Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. Well, we gave her a chance to not lie. She still lied. But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. Wait, why was he second-guessing himself? What? Hello? Did he forget the last, like, 20 hours? Maybe this trial's been going on so long his brain is rotting. Forgot what he was doing here. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I think Damon just sounds like demon. That's what I was thinking, but that's like very simple. Demon Gant. But think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And... oh my god, making this so fucking difficult, bro. Like, we're gonna get the same place regardless of what she does. She's just making it 10 times longer. It's not gonna change anything, but... Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. Lana. Well, that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. You say you did this all by yourself. Yes. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck in the victim's body. Wait, what? It's not the broken prosecutor knife award, that's the switchblade. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. Oh my god, bro. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark? Something like that. If that is so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All just to protect me. But when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to. Yes. Broke off the tip of Dark's knife, planted inside the wound, and then moved the body. You planted the tip of Dark's knife in the victim's wound? And then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You've always had a good head on your shoulders. My head isn't that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of others. Why did you move the body? When you showed up on the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason Miss Sky moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Okay, Lana Del Rey. Pieces of the jar. You mean... Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime. I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So, when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle. I see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that. There must be a contradiction here somewhere. Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period. Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. Got to get Lana to talk more. She's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay, so it's one of those last two. Miss Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony? You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on this jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. Can't write on a broken jar. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Ah. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical. Something moist critical. Chief Prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar. It was dark in the room and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. To be safe? The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. The jar was already broken. It's a miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. Excuse me. But not as feeble as the judge's judgment. Oh! You owned. You're an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. But it was darn. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? No. If I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Lana, you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I just barely had enough time to move the body as it was. If someone happened upon the scene, you'd lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana, I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. No, you didn't get them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in that office. The detective is always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. I never miss anything. I got every last piece. That's not true. Miss Sky, I believe this jar conceals the truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gant's safe. In the Chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was still blood on it. But the witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. This jar is so key, what the fuck? Yeah, no, I was a little skeptical about using it a third time. But, like, there was no other piece of evidence that could convey the Chief's safe. So I just picked it again. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night Prosecutor Marshall was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gant got there before you. Couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on a shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying this person was Chief Gant. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, even if he was there first, why would he break the jar? The question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide that fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer that? No! Wait, why is he freaking out? What the fuck? Why are we interrogating the judge? Okay. Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Yeah, what? David Gant arrived at this crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question. What is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. But why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear? What happened afterwards? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister Emma killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her this aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma. And therein lies the reason. The reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Oh damn, she bit that hard. Go, calm down there. You already cut your hand once. No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. Defense attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. Whoa. Okay, hold on. What? Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana may be right after all. What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies then, Mr. Wright? Miss Skye, please testify once more. But if evidence was fabricated behind your back, then Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Skye, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will, if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. Alright, the witness may testify once more for the final time. Actual crime scene. Real crime scene. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on the suit of armor's sword. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what had happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if it all really was a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. Unbelievable. The body was impaled on the armor's sword? You're the only one who saw that. If only you had proof. Actually, I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. What? To me? It's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. But I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright? She really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. Lana said she gave it to you this morning, right? I seem to remember getting something from her then. Let's check that evidence again. There must be a picture in there somewhere. What was this morning? Was it, who gave me this? Was it this? Is it the... Ooh, what did she give me? Oh. Okay, it's this thing. Pio. That's graphic. Hey, there's a picture here. So that's why they wouldn't let me inspect it beforehand. Whenever I inspected it, it just showed me the two rules of evidence. But now I can suddenly open the book. That's funny. That implies that he didn't even bother flipping through it until this very moment. What an attorney. What an ace attorney, this guy. Hey, there's a picture here. Oh. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this, because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had arranged everything. Mr. Wright! That piece cut out from his vest. Could that be cloth we found inside Chief Gant's vest? Or safe. The vest cloth we found inside his vest cloth. What's this? Oh, what's this? The handprint, isn't it? That cloth. It had fingerprints on it. Whosever fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. Oh shit, they're yours, Emma. What? But those fingerprints... They're yours, Emma. Why are your lips turning all purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with this cross-examination. So long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Actual crime scene. When I arrived, I found this... Oh my god, he's back. Come now, Haji. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two with my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint Sorry to disappoint you. But I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Oh, wait. Is he gonna present the cloth? But then I can hit him with the... book! You mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So, what's your excuse, Raito? Yeah, we're gonna fight fire with fire. If you want to use the rulebook, so can I. Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt. Is this true, Mr. Wright? I show that piece of evidence now. Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have any more evidence, present it now. If you try to conceal anything, you will be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? Better think this through carefully. Can't afford to make the wrong decision. Shall I present that piece of evidence? The one that shows who really killed Prosecutor Marshall? Cannot show evidence. Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie! Chief Gant? You opened my safe! I know you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence! I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see. It's because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest. Notice anything odd about the chest area? It looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence. This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, Raito. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It then occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame lay with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance? I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame you for a murder that girl committed. You mean you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence? What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hit the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood off all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on this jar too? Ho ho ho! Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Raito, cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it then, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth you cut from the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all. But it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have any evidence you could present. Foolish move, Raito. You should have shown it then before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But but the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, victory is mine. Should I show evidence and show the evidence law? Cannot show evidence. Oh, it's too late to show the evidence now. Besides, even if I did, just expose that poor girl's fingerprints. Okay, I guess I have to show. Okay, right. Think over the circumstances. Circumstances? Talking about then and now. There's one major difference between the two. Weren't you waiting for that difference? I was, but this game is really convoluted sometimes. I figured out my plan. Mr. Wright, this is your only chance. Okay, I'll do it the other way then. Mr. Edgeworth, your opinion, please? I think Mr. Wright's humor has improved, at the expense of his defense. Oh no, it wasn't that? Fuck. Okay, so I guess I gotta show it. Okay, fine, I'll show it. I think I'm jumping the gun. Okay, look, here's your freaking cloth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes, at last you finally brought it into the open. It's a handprint on this piece of cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. There's handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean... It could not have been forged. It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Ho ho ho. You're as slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had all this time to present this evidence. Yet he was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already knew? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. It should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted. The person to whom these fingerprints belong to is... Emma? Emma Skye? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Oh ho ho ho! You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. Wait, did I pick the wrong answer? This game is so confusing sometimes. How could you? You monster! Miss Skye. You knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Miss Skye, it's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. Bro, what about all the other stuff we just confirmed you did? I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. Dude, Chad fucking Phoenix Wright over here. Not even saying a word, just staring straight forward. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh? And what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gant, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Mr. Wright, this piece of cloth. What could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Oh. What is the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth? It's gotta either be... Edith Kirby. Maybe it's this picture? I have... How many tries do I have? 1, 2... I have 3 more attempts. And it's not anything from before, so it's gotta be like one of these last 3 or 4 pieces of evidence. I'm very Kaifi. Bro, this is confusing. It's real confusing. Well, I have 3 tries, so let's just shoot fire. Shoot and fire. Oh, this one? Oh, is it this one? It's the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out. Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His lungs no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, that piece of cloth. Oh, it's clean. Wait, there's no blood on it. Arrgh! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are in this cloth, there's no doubt that she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword at that time. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armorer's sword? Then to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. To make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago. That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of vest, of the victim's vest. Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you proved that you were the actual murderer. Oh! It's finally all over. Oh? Look at his little floppy hair. Oh! That was close, Rido. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see that piece of cloth? Is it legal evidence? Oh, that's what I was trying to do earlier. But now he did it instead. But now he gets to say it doesn't count. Only when it's proving that it's like, and it was him that was the murderer. Only then does he care. But what nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember Uchi? Earlier, old Rido here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Rido? You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. That's not fair. Did you actually think you could best be in court? It looks like the last laugh's on you, son. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True. Legal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Hmm? Well, Mr. Wright? It seems, at last, the time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, you admit to it, that you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth. Do I tell the... I don't understand. Am I supposed to be honest here or not? Or is there like a loophole that I didn't think of? Let's just go where I did. No, if I admit to that... Oh, okay. That's not his plan. I really don't care. Shut up. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Uchi, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe... There's only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let's settle this once and for all. Wow. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. Okay, now we finally get to the thing I was trying to do from the beginning. That's the problem with this game sometimes, that it like gaslights you into thinking you're wrong even though you were the entire time. But it moves at its own pace. So then you get confused. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself, inside your safe. It goes without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here's the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove the relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at this picture and... Sorry, can you recall, when was that picture presented? It was shown only a few moments ago. No. He's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. Very technical argument here, but I guess it works. It's his own argument. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes. Yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. Wow, that's so, like... that's so, technically. Actually... The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. There's only one person who that could be. David Gant, the killer was you! Here, what the fuck? Oh my god. Ha ha ha. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. That good-for-nothing scum. For 2 years, he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. You wanted to reinvestigate the case. You recruited Angel Starr, and then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. Please, you've got to help me. Clapping. Goodman turned him down as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Could you please reopen the investigation, Chief? I can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm going to hand all this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SO9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it off. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint. On Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk, but what's the big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside. How How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. Felt bad for having to do it. I also didn't have the time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. It looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well. Much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Me? Despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. Oh my god! He hit us with the, you and I, we're not so different. So we fucking, Senator Armstrong and Jack over here. He's got the same vibes, too. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. We're not the same. You're not me. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Udgy. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. You're just like me trying to make history. Standing here. I'm sorry too, Damon Gant. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Here's to the ones that we lost. No, here's to the ones that we got. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Righto here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear them already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the beginning. You see, Miss Sky, you no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until today. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky. Couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you just might make it to the top. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Miss Sky. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. Believe me, I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. Huh. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you. And yet, you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it. I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky? Yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is, you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? Stop fucking smiling, Lana. It's been a long time, Your Honor. It's a long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Heavy chains that doth freeze my bones around. Well, this trial has gone on far too long already. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. Woo! That is all. This court is adjourned. Yep, I was waiting for that to play. Easy. Dude, far from easy. That last trial could honestly be like a whole other game. Holy fuck. Holy shit. It's like the DLC campaign they add at the they add for games. It's crazy. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended. See why Mia Faye thought so highly of you. Are you my thanks, Mr. Wright? To you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Suffered every bit of it you've done well. Damn, did I miss the Gant going Super Saiyan animation? It played a few times. You know, I did my best too. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Oh shit, she feels sad. Like she wasn't thanked. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? This bit, dude. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana. Should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day, 2 years ago, was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in that mess. Sis. I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared. Scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma! No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Oh my god, the Felix fucking monologue and scene. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in so doing, we can find the way back to our rightful path. And it is from here that we can move on toward a brighter future. At least, that's what I felt, watching the two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gumshoe. Me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet up again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Is he hiding somewhere? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. He's angry. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right. Well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say, I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth, not only that, I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. Despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. He was in the box. Classic Metal Gear fan. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma. Yeah, he's surrounded by toxic role models. What the fuck? We're both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said, in order to fight crime on my own, I need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Ooh! She said the line. The boys, Gant, von Karma, the judge, they play bingo on Sundays. They come strolling out of the courtroom with their powerful strut. We're on a lunch date. Don't bother us. It's like the "We are coming to beat you to death" thing, but it's just the three of them. We are coming to practice bad law on you. Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright. Show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. Wait, what was it? What the fuck? I thought it was done. The evidence list, right? That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me. There are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth! What will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. Oh my god, that's fucking... Good job, Phoenix. Sasuga, Kai. In the end, it's up to you. I know. Seems I owe you my thanks too, right? What I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better be going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. Seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here, this is a little something for you. Oh, look at that. Why do they all have like this like cute little bird on it? Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. That smile. That damned smile. And so, another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. No, they're literally 16 and 29. They've at least started their lives 16 years ago. Dumb Phoenix. Holy shit, Kaipi, you did it? I did it, I won! I finally finished Ace Attorney. And as for me, I think it's time oh my god, it's time I start on a new journey of my own. The friends along the way! The people I bonded with. Edgeworth. I love how they did it's always the fucking, all the people and then the most important person right smack dab in the middle. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this. But, I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Right here is the one who will be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford it with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it I suddenly feel like I want to scream? Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, it's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. So it began the Right Sky Gumshoe Lemonade business. Wow. The real credits. Edgeworth last, exactly. I arranged for a friend of mine in Europe to take care of Emma. I hope she'll be pleased to study under a top coroner. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back to the field somehow. Then, I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. So we're getting a bit of a where are they now, huh? They should show me Gant in prison with like a jail suit. Like, I'm in prison now. This sucks. Yikes! I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, though, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. Let's go! If we penalized you anymore, it'd be worse than firing you. Yep, that's what they said. Just goes to show, you can't shake me off that easily, pal. Edgeworth. Yo, Sparky! Amazing. Can't swim in the prison pool. It's like, you been swimming lately? I haven't, because I'm confined to a cell most of the day. Sigh. Oh, it's Meekins. My new wish is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to a security guard. My partner's keeping an eye on the entrance for me today. I'll show them though. Someday I'm gonna make a detective. Yes, sir. Then I can be just like that Dick Gumshoe. Dick Dumbshoe. Can be just like Dick. Maybe that's not the. I don't know if you want to aspire to be Gumshoe. Oh, Meekins. Oh, Meekins, that rascal. Oh my god, the blue badger gets some lines in. Look at him go. Hell yeah. Gonna keep dancing, I guess. Oh no, it broke. Somebody called Gumshoe. It finally died. Marshall, what is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Miss Starr managed to sneak this into me. She's seen one of the guards, it seems. Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? They was talking about a cactus. I was wondering who Billy was. Of course, anything for you, Marshall. Looks like we won't be seeing each other for a long time, for a while. As a farewell gift, I put a new meal on the menu. The right way lunch. The top layer tastes as bitter as defeat, but the bottom layer is as sweet as victory. Kids seem to dig the turnabout theme. It's a hot seller around exam time. Just make sure not to eat it backwards. The turnabout theme. Brandon Gay. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or other for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be... Huh? Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, gotta go. Wow, he's still so bad at his job. That's great. Oh my gosh, Maya. Ah! Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objection. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. Aw. It's been so long. This not only has she been gone for the whole trial, this trial was like the case of 3, or the length of 3, so feels like she's been gone even longer. Miho. Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I brought you your tea. What's going on? A letter. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I'm a little sad, but I'll be alright. Whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open this book. Oh, we're gonna open it. Oh, I see. I thought she was just being like symbolic, but there's actually just the photo in here. She looks good in that suit. That's cute. Capcom. 07 boss. I'm saluting. You can't tell, but I'm saluting right now. Lana, as annoying as you were in the trial, you had your reasons. So it's okay. Oh, no, I'm not even gonna get it because it's the end of the game. Wow! And that's the first Ace Attorney. Out of 3. Wahoo! Alright. Finally, we're finished. God, it was a long trial, but it was a good trial. Yeah, baby. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna start the next game soon. I don't know when, but yeah, I'm gonna continue with it. And if I like if the next 2 games are pretty fun, then maybe I'll even look at a way of emulating the DS ones that aren't on Steam. That's pretty much the only way I'll be able to play them on stream anyway. I do want to play the other ones too, the Chronicles one, for Ace Attorney Chronicles. Next is Justice for All. True, I think. Yeah. Justice for All, and then Trials and Tribulations. All the Trials and Tribulations of playing an Ace Attorney game. But yeah, that was great. I enjoyed that. That was cool. If I had to pick a favorite trial out of all those, I would have to say, give me a second because I don't exactly remember. This one's kind of iconic because it's so long, but let me rate them. How about that? I think this one's might be my favorite trial out of them all. And then maybe this one. But maybe I have like a little bit bias because I've just played this one. I might go this one, then this one. This one's honestly actually pretty good too. And then this one. I didn't really care about this one too much, but it wasn't too bad. I don't know. This one was short. It was like an introduction trial, so Goodbyes is good. Turnabout Samurai, Turnabout Sisters, the first Turnabout. They should have been. Oh, it is Turnabout Goodbyes. Okay, they're all Turnabout except for this last one, but this last one's a special case. Should have been Rise from the Ashes Turnabout. Rise from the Ashes parentheses Turnabout. Turnabout from the Ashes. Rise from the Turnabout. Francesca Soon. Isn't that Von Karma's daughter or something? I know it's Von Karma, right? Von Karma's breakdown is so fucking awesome. Yeah, he like pops off. It's crazy. Him and Gant have the coolest breakdowns. I just love Ace Attorney breakdowns. Yoo-hoo! Seeing someone's mental state deteriorate to the point where they go crazy. Let's go. Yeah, they're cool. But what I was saying was like the second one, this guy's pretty funny. Mr. Blue White? I think it was Mr. White of Blue Corp or of Red Corp. I don't remember. It was stupid. It was funny and it was stupid. It's a prosecutor in the second game, Edgeworth's little sister. Oh, interesting. She's hilariously evil. The Solid Child too. Yeah, this one's fun. I think this trial has the highest amount of cute girls per trial length. That's the metric that I'm using. But yeah. Solid game. I enjoyed it. And I will be playing the next one. I did not hate it enough to the point where I won't play the next one. I will be playing the next one. But yeah. Yeah, it's already, yeah, it's right about time. Next stream will be on it'll be on Friday. Yep. And what I will be doing then? What will I be? I'll be playing Stray. I think I still haven't bought it yet. I need to actually do that. Can't really play it if I don't have it downloaded. But I need to buy it and download it so I can play it then. Apparently it's a short game. One of my other friends streamed it and he completed it in literally like 4 hours. So, and that's like my exact stream time. So it's perfect. So I think I'll get Stray and then I'll play it and then. It'll probably just be like that one stream, but yeah. Good stream, so glad I caught the end. Thanks for stopping by. I had fun. Cat game for cat boy. I have to play at this point, basically. It'd be like if I was a lawyer streamer. I don't know, does it exist? Are there any like lawyers who also stream? It'd be like if I was a lawyer streamer and didn't play the Ace Attorney games. It'd be like, what are you doing? You're the lawyer streamer. This is your niche. But yeah. That's pretty much it. I don't think, is there anyone online for a little raid? But doesn't really look like it. I'll just end here. It's a Wednesday night too, so it makes sense. But yeah. Thanks for stopping by as always. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And I'll see you whenever next I see you. Have a great rest of your night. Bye. The clap soars through the end screen. Alright. Have a good night, guys.